Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Quest Nutrition. Visit questnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today we are here with the 2016 IFBB UK British champion, Jenev Varghese. Welcome.
Hi, Dave.
I wanted to make sure I didn't screw up your name, but I wanted to get you on here for a while. I know you've been working with Chris Aceto this whole year. The British bodybuilding scene has been tremendously competitive over the last couple of years. We've seen some amazing champions come out of there, from the Nathan D'Ashes to this year, Luke Sandow. And obviously, you're nipping at these guys' heels, so to speak. You won the heavyweight class. Even though no one really knew who you were, you kind of came out of nowhere and did that. And I wanted to give them a chance to get to know you a little bit. So I know you have an interesting story because you come by way of India, and you're now a UK citizen. Tell us about how that came about.
I moved here 8 years ago. I come to study here. I come to do my master's degree in business administration. So I come here, done my education, finished, graduated, and just stuck about, really.
So what made you say, you know what, I want to change my citizenship? A lot of people might go to a country, because they want to see how it is. But what made you say, I'm staying here?
Well, I've got a family now here, so I decided I'll stay here and make a life here. So
now, you were bodybuilding in India, and I'm going to ask you about that in a little bit. But then you kind of took some time off, and then you came back to bodybuilding. So tell us a little bit how you initially got into the bodybuilding scene in India, and how it was there, and then when you left, how did it change?
Well, we all started when I was a kid, like everyone, watching wrestling, seeing the big guys. You want to be one of the big guys. Well, it started off as my mum and dad are quite short, so they wanted me and my brother to be a bit more longer than they are. So they bought these Olympic rings, and they used to make us hang on it every day since I was 8 years old or something like that. So I always started doing pull-ups, press-ups, and it just started off there. But when I was 16, when I finished school, I joined the gym with my brother, and it just stuck. 6 months into my first, 6 months training, went for my first competition. It was like a sub-junior under 18 competition. Didn't do well, come last, was disappointed. And then I was determined to go back in and prove myself and win the show. Didn't happen a few times, so kept plugging at it away till I was 21. Won a few shows. I won Junior Mr. India and Senior Mr. India. I'll come 5th. That was when I was 21, and after that, I just quit. Just wanted to do some kickboxing and just continue with my studies and stuff. So
now, Jenev, let me just stop you for a second, because bodybuilders just don't quit. I mean, it's an addictive sport. We see ourselves changing, the physique evolving. There had to be something more to it. And I know in India, it's very difficult to have a path to follow, so to speak, and at least a path that goes to a pro card, because there's a lot of fragmented organizations there. They have a show on every street corner. I know they give prize money out, but they don't really. There's like I said, there's no direction there, and a lot of the Indian bodybuilders, at least that I speak to, are very frustrated with that. Did you sense that same frustration?
Yeah, it's quite frustrating because you could be winning Mr. India 5 years in a row, 10 years in a row. You won't be turning pro. You'll be just stuck where you are, and there is no option where you've been awarded a pro card. You can go further and be on an international stage. So I thought when I was 21, there's no point in me carrying on if I can't be an IFBB pro. There's no point in me doing it. So I just stopped competing. I was still training, but I just stopped competing for a while till I come to the UK, and I was training away in the gym, and I see a poster for a local show. It was called UKBFF South Coast, and the it was a year sponsorship by CMP, and I was quite attracted. I was like, oh, okay, I want to try and see if I can get that sponsorship. Done an 8-week prep, and I was, to my surprise and everyone's surprise, I won the UKBFF South Coast. I won my class. First time was at intermediates under 90, and I won the overall.
Well, when you go back to the UK scene, obviously, the bodybuilders are probably a lot better. Look, I've seen what goes on in India. Were you intimidated at first to get back on stage because you're like, now I'm in the big leagues here in the UK? These guys have been training a lot of years. I haven't been doing anything for 5 years, and that has to be pretty intimidating.
Yeah, it was. I didn't expect anything going into the show. Like I'd done a crash diet for 8 weeks. I haven't been even training legs for like 5 years. I just thought I'd just try and see what I can pull up in 8 weeks, and just done it. And I wasn't even expecting anything. But to my surprise, my body just responded really good, and no one knew it was coming as well. So,
obviously it's always good to be the underdog. After you started doing a couple shows and doing well, at some point you must have said to yourself, hey, I got, people are telling me I got talent, I got the ability to possibly earn pro status. You have a very small waist, a very good, pleasing structure to look at. When did you say to yourself, you know what, I can do this and I can be a pro someday?
I think it was a couple of years down the line. I think 2011 was quite good for me. And 2012, 2013 was quite bad. And in 2014, I just thought I'm going to give it one last shot. And I did. 2014, I come back as a heavyweight. I only weighed about 91 kilos, and I thought I could do this. I think I could be a IFBB pro. So I thought I'll give it my all since 2014. So 2015 was pretty good, and this year has been really good. So
at the beginning of this year, you kind of changed things up a little bit. You contacted Chris Aceto, and you asked to work with him. Now, Chris doesn't really take people on very readily. I mean, did he respond to you right away, or how did that whole conversation go?
It was quite random, because I was working with George Farah in 2014 and 2015. It was quite good, but then I wasn't too happy about 2015. So my mate Subi, who does promoting, and he brought Chris and Sean Roden over for a UK tour, and he spoke to me and he said, listen, you need to work with Chris. I'll speak to Chris and see what I can do. And we went out for dinner, and he spoke to Chris, and he forced Chris to take me on, and then Chris took me on.
Chris, you were telling me also, and Chris told me that he had you doing a lot of cardio. The carbs were low. I'm assuming that George probably did the opposite. He probably did no cardio and tons of carbs, which probably didn't work for your physique, obviously.
Carbs were fairly all right, but I wasn't doing a lot. I don't think I did more than 20 minutes cardio a day.
Yeah, that's George.
With George.
So what was the problem? You weren't getting lean enough?
I was getting lean, but I never got that condition I got this year. This year I was shredded to the bone. Like, if you ask Chris for pictures, like from like few days out from the show, I was dry. I was really dry.
Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again, probably a million times more. The conditioning wins shows, and that's really what it amounts to. And you had a level of polish this year that was unbelievable. As a matter of fact, going into this UK BFF British Championships, you were not one of the favorites. Hamid Juma was one of the favorites. He had been winning everything in England. He was a former client of Chris Aceto's the year before that, and then I understand he went out to train at Oxygen Gym in Kuwait. And, he was training with the Camel crew out there, and he came back and you beat him. And not only did you beat him, but he wound up in 4th place. So that had to be a big surprise, I guess, when you guys got up on stage and stood next to each other. I'm sure the fans and the press and everyone there were astounded.
Yeah, because he was one of the ones to watch out to win the heavyweight class and the overall. So, well, I suppose
How life works out, right? One guy leaves Chris, then Chris picks you up, and then you beat the guy who used to work with him. So, you know, it's kind of an irony, but it happens.
I wouldn't have left. I wouldn't have left Chris, to be honest. That was a bad move.
I don't know. You know, sometimes you get swayed by the riches of richer pastor, so they say.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that British Championships, because you did not get a pro card there. You won the heavyweight class, even though it was a very competitive class, but you didn't win the overall. Luke Sandow won the overall. We had him on a couple weeks ago. How was that battle in the overall? Did you think you had a shot against him?
I actually genuinely did think I had him, but looking back at pictures, I'd probably say, yeah, condition-wise, I had him, but he had about 20 kilos on me. Yeah. So I weighed 93 on stage, and I think he weighed about 120 something. So he had about 20 kilo muscles over me, and I think his back was a lot wider than mine. So that's what I'm trying to do for the whole next year, try and bring my upper body up, just balance it out with my legs.
You got some spectacular showy body parts, though. You know, that ab thigh pose you hit is amazing. I mean, you look like if you don't look like a pro in that shot, I don't know who does. So you're knocking on the door, essentially.
Well, hopefully next year I'll be pro.
What's the plan? Which show are you planning on hitting for the pro card?
Me and Chris are planning on doing the British finals. We're going to concentrate on the British. We're going to nail that one. As Chris would say, smoke them again.
Look, you know, sometimes you got to just keep showing up and showing up and showing up, and you know, you never know what lineup you're going to be in. But you know, it's hard to beat a guy who's a lot bigger than you. What did you weigh on stage? True. Would you say for this past show?
I weighed 93.4.
How many pounds is that? I don't have my calculator.
205, I think.
Okay, so you would be a very good 212 pro. Once you turn pro.
I could another 7 pounds. 7 pounds, yeah.
You don't even need another 7 pounds. You got a lot of size in you. Now, is it weird that, you know, there's really no Indian pros out there? There's no guys who are Indian bodybuilders who are great IFBB pros. I mean, we're just really getting good Asian pros with Hide Yamagishi and some of the other 212 guys from Korea that have come into the. So that kind of makes you a pioneer in a sense.
Well,
how does that make you feel? I mean, do you feel like that you're representing not only the UK but also India still?
I think both, because I don't think there is any Indian bodybuilders that's on any IFBB stage. So if I was to be a pro, I think I will be the first one.
I think there's a guy, Varinder Singh. I always see him competing. I don't know. I think he's from India. He's competed a few times. But there's been no pros that have actually made an impact, I think. And that's something that you have the potential to certainly do over the next year or so once you get yourself established. What's the game plan this winter, this off season, as far as packing on size? What advice does Chris give you to improve your back and all the body parts that you think need to come up?
Yeah, he's asked me to concentrate a lot on my upper half. So he's told me not to train legs. He said leave your legs till prep time. Really? Just plug away doing upper body, bring it up. It's my back I need to bring up. It needs to be a lot more wider. So
is that tough, not training legs? I don't think I could do that.
It's quite hard not training legs, because I do enjoy training legs. But it's nice in a way, because I like to have my body more balanced and symmetrical rather than just known for he's got quads or he's got legs.
Yeah. Now, do you ever go back to India and visit?
I go back and see my mum and dad every year, so or they come to Dubai, because my family, my brother lives in Dubai, so we either meet up in Dubai or we go India, see family and that.
Do they make fun of you in India now because you got that really heavy British accent?
Well, no. But once I'm there, I try and speak my own language, and
But they speak a lot of English in India, don't they?
yeah, they do, they do.
When you speak the local dialect, do you have an accent too, or does the accent disappear?
Um, yeah, I try and speak as Indian as possible when I'm speaking the local dialect.
Give us speak in Indian. Let me see. I want to see if I can detect the accent.
Um, well, Indian accent, or you want me to speak
No,
my
speak like you
language?
would pretend I'm Indian. Hey, how's it going? You know, I miss you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Um, എന്താ പറയുന്നത് Dave? നന്നായിരിക്കുന്നു, സുഖമല്ലേ? So that's basically Malayalam. So that's like a South Indian language.
Gotcha. I still detected British accent a little bit in there. I think Johnny's shaking his head too. Johnny confirms that you've been Britanized by the crown over there.
I think it's from where like I've been, because I was born in Dubai and I lived in Dubai till I was 13, and I've only spoken English till I was pretty much 13. Well, at home we spoke Malayalam, but I've always spoken English outside. So that's where when people speak to me, they're like, "But you've only been in England for 8 years. How do you speak good English?" And I'm like, I've spoken English my whole life, you know.
So you were born in Dubai, then you went back to India, and then from
Yeah.
India you came to the UK?
Yeah.
Wow, you've been all over the place. You're really international.
Yeah.
Do you have Dubai citizenship too?
No, you don't get Dubai citizenship. No one gets Dubai citizenship.
Really? Difficult.
Well, to be honest, if I was born a day earlier, I would have got a Dubai citizenship because it's the national day. So I was born on the 3rd of December. If I was born on the 2nd of December, I would have got a free nationality. I would have got free air miles with Emirates.
Really?
And I would get wages every year.
Wow.
So they pay you. Yeah, it's for the kids that's born on the 2nd of December, so on the national day. That's something they do.
Wow, that's a
And
great.
I always tell my mum, you should have just got me out a day earlier.
Right, you should have had a C-section, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
You'd be set for life. You'd be getting. Don't they give you housing too? I think, right?
Yeah, you get housing, you get everything.
Unbelievable. See, you could have been living the life.
I don't think my mum and dad knew about it. I think if they did know, they would have done it.
Yeah, they probably would. I would have forced the process at that point.
Yeah.
Well, look, it was a great interview. I want to just congratulate you on the win. Obviously, you didn't get the pro card, but I have a feeling 2017 is going to be your year. I think we're going to not only see you turn pro, we're going to see you on a pro stage before the year's end. So that's my prediction, and you can take that to the bank and tell Chris I said hello, and looking forward to seeing what you can do in the coming years.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me on the show.
My pleasure. And guys, that will take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Quest Nutrition. Visit questnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we'll see you next time.